Friday night football is back and we're here at the King Power Stadium for Leicester versus Nottingham Forest, and a far more relaxed Leicester than it would have been a few weeks ago if we'd been here. And I mean, they've gone 6 points clear of relegation, so it's a hell of a cushion at this stage of the season for them from where they were not winning in the first 6.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough start, and it's just interesting the actual reaction to Steve Cooper as a manager. Maybe something to do with the fact that he was, previously the Nottingham Forest manager, so it's almost got to, got to try and win them over. And you're talking about how far away they are from the relegation zone, but they've got certainly a big gap on the teams who came up with them. So it shows that the start they've made, obviously really good result for them, wasn't it, coming back from 2-0 down for 3-2. Any team, if Manchester City or Liverpool or Arsenal do that in the Premier League this season, that'd be seen as a great result. So that was a massive one coming into this one.
I know you're good friends with Steve Cooper, you speak to him quite a lot. How important will that be for him in terms of settling everybody down around here?
Massive, because Leicester, even though they come up from the Championship, they feel like they're a Premier League club, So I just felt even mentally coming into this season, the supporters and everyone around the club would expect to stay up. It wouldn't be like maybe the other promoted teams coming up this season or what we saw last season as well. So I think that adds a little bit of pressure as well. And he's still a new manager. It was not his team that he brought up. Obviously, Maresca moved on to Chelsea. They were playing a certain brand of football last season. I think Steve Cooper's tried to slightly alter that, really. Probably not as much football based, maybe trying to be tougher to beat. But, they've made a brilliant start.
Both these teams are in the low 40s in possession. So how does Steve Cooper take this tonight? Does he, because he's at home, does he actually try and keep more of the ball? Does he try and be a bit more proactive?
I think you have to, because you're at home. I mean, they can't both just stand off and say we want to be the team who sort of try and make the play. But I think Nottingham Forest, certainly away from home, been brilliant this season. So they've got a way of working. I saw that at Anfield, work perfectly and brilliantly this season. So I think they'll do more of the same, and that's the way they go about it. I liken them to sort of Sean Dyche's Everton a little bit on Monday night, where they're just prepared to stay in their shape and wait for the opposition to make a mistake. And if you go back to Monday night, you think of the mistake that Dean Henderson made in the Crystal Palace goal. That was the game plan. I
mean, to be fair, Forest are the most direct team in the league apart from Everton.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. But they are the most direct. Is that? I mean, it's a throwback really in some ways. I mean, they're the shock of the season so far, aren't they? In 8th position, you wouldn't have expected that at the start of the season, would you?
No, because I think under Steve Cooper initially they were fighting for their lives, stayed in the division. Then Nuno replaced him, and the last season they were fighting for their lives late on as well. But you do know Nuno's got sort of pedigree in the Premier League. We know how he plays, but you look at what he did with Wolves for a couple of seasons, getting European football. Now, I'm not saying European football this season, but the way they've started, if that continues how they go on, they look like they'll be in a situation where they're well clear of relegation. It won't be that much of a worry. And when you actually look at their attacking players, they've got some really tasty players. So when you look at what they've got, and the two centre-backs have been fantastic as well. I mean, I was one of the ones who was maybe tipping them to have a difficult season this season, but what I've seen at the start of the season makes me think they'll be fine.
You talked about tasty players. You're probably referring to Hudson-Odoi, Anderson and Alanga there, but the actual guy who's scoring all the goals, Chris Wood, would you like to have played against him?
No, and I wouldn't like to have a quiz against him, because I had a quiz as well, would you believe, with him a few days ago, and he just beat me.
A quiz as well.
No, we'll get to that as well. If you're losing the quiz to Gary Neville, you've got a big problem. So, but the quiz was on Chris Wood, so I'd expect him to come out on top. But no, he's been a brilliant signing. Listen, it didn't work for him at Newcastle. He went there, it didn't quite happen for him. So it's been a really great signing for Nottingham Forest. Helped with him staying up last season. But he's one of those Premier League players, as you said, you probably wouldn't want to come up against. Probably never going to play for a top club, but always does a brilliant job.
You've driven down from Liverpool, and there's a big game on Sunday.
I guide the driver.
Sorry, he's been driven down from Liverpool, and obviously you've left a city that's sitting at the top of the league. Liverpool buoyant at this moment in time. What's your thoughts ahead of Sunday? I know it's a couple of days away, but a big game.
I think Liverpool have got a real chance because of the situation Arsenal find themselves in, injury-wise. It's never easy when you're a top team coming in against one of your rivals and you miss some of your best players. Every team has injuries, and Arsenal were very fortunate last season, injury-wise, I must say that. But I think when you miss some of your best players, that does hurt, no matter how big your squad is. But you're still playing Arsenal away. It's still a tough game. But when you think about sort of the league title, long way to go. But when you look at maybe how you got on against your biggest rivals, that's what Arsenal are right now for Liverpool.
Right, join us here at 7 o'clock. Friday night football is back, and it's on 401 Sky Sports main event.
Calafiore, first of all, then, that injury, well, the incident looked pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It looked bad. How bad do you think it might be?
He needs some more tests. Yesterday he had some, today he's going to have some more, and from there we will know because last time as well we thought it was really bad, and then he ended up playing 2 days after or 3. So let's see how it is.
But he won't make Sunday, will he? If you're still doing tests, it's too risky.
Yeah, well, I said that last time it happened, but this time might be different.
Saka hadn't trained, you said when you spoke before the game on Tuesday. Has he done any sort of training?
Yeah, he's done a bit of training on the grass. How far we can get him to Sunday, that's a different question. We have another day, which is the good thing that this week had an extra day, but we will see.
And just finally then, is Timber training on the grass? Is he close? How close would you say he is?
Yeah, Timber, again, is the first session that he could have some involvement. He's been out for a while. We expect him to be further back where he is at the moment, but again, we have to wait and see.
Okay. You like to work as hard, don't you, on Friday to glean this information? So Lever, we know, is not going to be available.
No.
He's obviously played every minute, hasn't he, since the start of last season?
Yeah.
So I guess you don't know fully what options you've got yet, but how do you go about filling that sort of void?
Well, we have different options, players that already played there before. It's true that that partnership has been very stable. As you said, he's played every single moment. He's not available. We have to find a different solution, which is something that as a team we need to be good at as well.
Okay. And you talked about coming out flying. You're going to be flying on Sunday. I wondered, after maybe a slightly flatter performance but a win and off the back of a defeat, whether you've done anything different this time. Have you given them a bit of time off? Have you changed things up a bit just to look for that edge to get those wins, I guess, for Sunday against Liverpool?
Yeah, obviously after the defeat with 10 men at Bournemouth, we have to pick ourselves up. I think we started the game so well. The first half was really good. It should have been very different with the scoreline. It didn't, and at the end it left you this feeling that it should have been more. They had a day off, 2 days to prepare the game like we always do, and it's a big match. We are excited about it. It's a big opportunity. We love these kind of matches at the Emirates. We know what our people is going to generate, and the team is really looking forward to it.
Okay, go to Alex from the Premier League.
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
Fine margins can make a difference in games like this one.
Yeah.
What are you hoping will give your team the edge against Liverpool?
Yeah, that things go our way, you know, and we play the game that we want to play, that we play with that dominance. We've done it in the past, we've done recently, and play with that belief, you know, with that belief, with that energy, and with that commitment that is necessary in a big match like this.
In the summer, you said you'd heard great things from some of your players about Arne Slot. Has what you've seen from him from the start of the season confirmed everything that you heard?
Yes, very good. Obviously, they're in a really good moment. They're in a great run, and you can see the touch that he's given to a team that was already very strong. But you can see his fingerprints on that team.
You say the touch. What is the most dangerous thing about this Liverpool side, in your opinion? Where can they do the most damage?
Well, it's a team that, you know, for 9 years has been competing at the highest level in every competition. So they know how to compete. They know how to thread you when the ball is really far, when the ball is in the outside units, especially. They have the individual quality to damage you. They are good on set pieces. So it's a team that for 9 years consistently has been there. That means that they are really good at everything that they do.
It will be your 6th different back-line combination of the season. I know you have key players out, but how happy are you with strength and depth? And let's not forget an incredible keeper at the back as well.
Yeah, well, obviously we had so much going on, especially on the back line the first few months of the season. We had to adapt to that. That's why we have as well some versatile players that has been really, really helpful. But yeah, ideally we will have other options as well and more consistency. But that's the situation that we have at the moment.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alex, BBC.
Hi, Michael. Do you feel hard done by it that you've had so many injuries at this stage of the season that's maybe stopped you from playing your best football?
This is the game, you know. Obviously, we didn't want to be in that situations, but we are really lucky as well to have the squad that we have, to have the players that we have, to have the attitude that we have when it comes down to reacting against a difficult situation. And don't feel sorry for ourselves. Face it. We are a team that we know how good we are as well, and how difficult we can be for the opponents. And having that ruthless mentality in the team is something that I love.
you mentioned the mentality there. Will this game require a different type of mentality? So many key players potentially out to try and get a result against a team like Liverpool.
Yeah, but we're always going to be ourselves, in the things, in the identity that we have, in the game that we want to play, in how we're going to approach the game to win it. That's certainly not going to change. Then obviously you adapt and you make certain alterations to fit the quality of the players and put the players in their biggest strength, which is what we want to do.
Soccer and Timber to start, Merino set for key role, and White in new position, Dream Arsenal 11 vs Liverpool. Football London envisions a Dream Arsenal 11 as they gear up to face Liverpool in a pivotal Premier League showdown, despite ongoing injury concerns with Bukayo Saka, Ricardo Calafiori, and others. Arsenal faces a high-stakes battle this weekend, aiming to regain control in the title race. A loss could see Arne Slot side stretch a daunting 7-point lead over their rivals. The pressure mounts on Arsenal as Mikel Arteta tackles critical lineup challenges with a depleted squad. Martin Odegaard remains out long-term, making a timely return unlikely, even under ideal circumstances. With this in mind, Football London presents a potential Dream 11, hoping that a few doubtful players can recover in time to make a difference, something Arteta would certainly welcome. David Raya continues in goal, showing resilience despite a tough outing at Bournemouth, having delivered key saves midweek against Shakhtar Donetsk. However, he'll be relying on an altered backline this time. William Saliba's suspension poses a major issue, compounded by Calafiori's knee injury from Tuesday's game, which could sideline him for weeks. The return of Jurrien Timber would greatly ease defensive worries, though the question remains where he should play. I'd slot Timber at left-back, with Thomas Partey covering the right. Ben White shifts to central defence alongside Gabriel Magalhaes to fill Saliba's role. With Partey moving back, Mikel Merino can finally start in his favoured box-to-box role, rather than the attacking midfield position he filled against Bournemouth. Declan Rice takes up a holding role, while Leandro Trossard remains as the advanced midfielder. Although young talent Ethan Nwaneri shows great promise, Liverpool may be too challenging a debut. Saka's return to the lineup would be a massive boost for Arteta and a concern for Liverpool's defence. Gabriel Martinelli looks revitalised, and with Kai Havertz finding his scoring touch at the Emirates, Arsenal's attack could be primed for success. Dream Arsenal 11 vs Liverpool, Raya, Partey, White, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, Merino, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli.